The next big Walt Disney Company earnings call is coming out tomorrow if you're watching this video at the time of release. And there is much riding on this one after a series of negative earnings reports, after a series of subscriber losses for Disney Plus and box office failures. Can the House of Mouse turn things around? Well, there's something curious out there, folks, right now. We're going to bring it to you today. There's something fishy about this earnings report. There's something fishy about the Disney stock. Let's get to it right now. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the place where we wake up Hollywood. They're already woke, so why not wake them up to making money again? We like that. Jonas J. Campbell loves money, right, Jonas?
Well, I try not to love it, but I sure do enjoy it.
I thought I would set you up and see how you handled that one. Thanks, bro. Thanks for that intro. Yeah, I just love money. I'm just a money-grubbing man. But, Jonas, we've got some interesting stuff here. And, of course, folks, we're going to be covering the Disney earnings call tomorrow. We'll have the pre-show right here on the Pro Show. We'll be doing that at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, going over what we expect to see out of the earnings call. We'll then go from this show to the Valiant Renegade channel for coverage. Those of you who join us tomorrow will automatically go over, and Valiant Renegade's coverage starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll probably go on for quite a few hours. And then don't forget also that even before we start, you can join Midnight's Edge. I believe they'll start about noon Eastern Time with their coverage. So all of this is going to be going on, and folks, you don't have to do a thing. Just strap in, buckle in, tape yourself down, and scotch tape your eyelids open and your ears wide, and we will divulge what's going on with Disney. Jonas, big day tomorrow, and I assume we will be utterly exhausted afterwards.
Oh, man. And we're starting, some of us are starting early. I'm doing the 8 a.m. Warner Brothers live stream early that day with Valiant as well. So
I personally think it's cruel that these companies do this on the same day. I mean, how can we possibly manage it?
It's going to be absolutely amazing if these two affect one another. I'm more willing to bet that WB will be taking shots at, WBD will be taking shots at WDC rather than the other way around.
Disney hopes that we will not be able to handle it all, but yet, folks, we do. And today we are going to Investors Business Daily. This by Harrison Miller. Came out the 3rd of November. We're now getting to it because, well, it keeps being a factor here. Disney stock rises on plan to buy remaining Hulu stake for $8.61 billion. Let's read this, and then, Jonas, I'm going to unleash you upon this article. The Dow Jones entertainment giant Disney announced late Wednesday plans to purchase the remaining outstanding stake in the Hulu streaming service held by NBC Universal. Disney also revealed the official launch date for its new online sportsbook. Skip ahead. Disney will acquire the remaining 33% stake in Hulu from Comcast-owned NBC Universal. The House of Mouse expects to pay NBCU about $8.61 billion by December 1st. Based on the terms of an options agreement between the two companies from 2019. The figure represents NBC Universal's percentage of the $27.5 billion guaranteed floor value set for Hulu in the 2019 agreement. Jonas, explain all of this for us, please, and if you see any discrepancies, please share those as well.
Well, yes, this is when Disney bought Fox, they bought 30% of Hulu, and then with that, they bought out the other 10% that was held by, of all companies, Warner Brothers, leaving just 33% of that company. Yes, I know that 40% there leaves, but we're talking about percentage of the company, not straight numbers here. That left 33% with Comcast, rather NBC Universal, and then Comcast bought NBC Universal. And around 2019, they made an agreement that either Disney or Comcast could call in this a remaining amount for a floor valuation of $27.5 billion, and 1/3 of that being $9.05 billion, which is funny because that 8.61 there is a little bit below that, I would say. So somebody's got some money has to change hands there to make the difference.
Well, let's go here, Jonas. Check this out. This is actually the press release from the Walt Disney Company back on November 1st. And folks, I promise this has an impact on the news of the next 24 hours. We'll explain in a moment. Here's where, of course, the article we were just reading from pulled those figures. Under the terms of the put-call arrangement, by December 1st, Disney expects it will pay NBCU approximately $8.61 billion, representing the percentage of NBCU's remainder. Now, Jonas, that's not the minimum contractually obligated amount to pay, correct?
Correct. That would be 9.05 billion would be the minimum contractually obligated amount to pay.
So why did Disney promise to pay and put it out as a statement of fact? Why did they put out as a statement of fact that they would pay less than they are contractually obligated to pay for Hulu?
Well, first of all, we'll go with the truth, and then we'll go with the lie that's being told here. The truth is that the valuation of Hulu is being done by two banks, one of them being J.P. Morgan Stanley, and the other one being, sorry, I did it again. J.P. Morgan is one of the banks, and Morgan Stanley is the other bank. Too many Morgans. Morgan Stanley being the one that Disney hired, and JP Morgan being the one that Comcast hired to value Hulu. Now, Comcast is of the opinion that Hulu is worth something more like 70 billion, and Disney is of the opinion that, oh, it's worth almost nothing, and we're only going to pay that minimum amount. With this, they're saying, oh, it's definitely worth that minimum amount. We just want to make sure that we brand that right there on the side of the cow. It's worth $8.61 billion. We want you to think that that is the number, because guess what's going on Wednesday at around 4 p.m.-ish? It's the earnings call, in which this is one of the large swords of Damocles standing over Bob Iger's head. They want no one to have a question in their mind about what the purchase price of Hulu is going to be, and so they're producing this teeny tiny little number of 8.61 billion when it could potentially be I would guess 13 billion. Some people have get Culture threw out 13 billion. I threw out 15 billion. Could go as high as 23 billion for this 1/3 stake if it goes according to Brian Roberts from.
This is anywhere from 9 billion to over 20. Jonas, I want to congratulate you because I dare say that the sword of Damocles has been used on this channel before, but this is the first time, I think, accurately. Take a look at this, though, Jonas. If we take a look at Disney stock, this is why this matters, folks. This is after they came out with that statement about how much they are going to spend on Hulu. Remember, under the contractually obligated amount. Disney stock added another 2.1% Friday after swinging 2.7% higher Thursday. Then it goes on to talk about what we've just been saying. Shares have been in a steady downtrend this year. Yada, yada, yada. Things have been bad. You all know. But that's a 5% almost increase in the 48 hours following that statement from Disney. And here's Investors Business Daily. It's the same article we were just reading. We're still there. Disney stock rises on plan to buy remaining Hulu stake for $8.61 billion. So investors, Jonas, get this news from Disney. They see this in the press release. The articles get churned out, and nobody goes seriously. I mean, there are a few exceptions here, but very few people actually write articles that say, by the way, this is probably, almost certainly, imaginably, there's no way around this being a fictional number.
Right. Absolutely.
Isn't that interesting?
I would point out that Variety, Todd Spangler from Variety, does excellent coverage of streaming and business. And he's one of the few people that I saw that actually said at least 8.61 billion, as opposed to just putting that number right there in branding. Again, branding like the cow branding, not branding as in the marketing.
So which way would you say this is, Jonas? Is it duplicitous? Is it dubious? Is it sinister? Is it manipulative?
It's strategy. It's gamesmanship. I like the word gamesmanship.
Okay,
here.
I'll go with gamesmanship.
So that 8.61 billion number makes all of the investors feel nice and cuddly about that 8.61 billion. If they're not really paying attention to what's going on, if it jazzes the stock price, that's great. So how are they going to pay for Hulu? They have three options. They have cash, which they don't have a ton of cash. They do have more cash than they had in the first quarter of this year. They can finance it with debt, which debt is probably one of the more expensive ways to do this right now because interest rates are higher than they have been for a very long time. And the third way is by paying them in stock. Now,
so let me see if I can connect that dot. What you're suggesting is Disney put out a gamesmanship-like statement that is low on factual merit. And that statement lifted their stock, which makes it easier for them to purchase the item, which we believe was dubiously explained in their press release. So said press release is operating on both ends of this. Is that
Right,
fair?
right. So I'll throw a figure up here. That is $154 billion. That's the current market capitalization of the Walt Disney Company. If you're going to pay for something at the value of $8.61 billion, would you rather do it while you have $154 billion in market capitalization, or like it was before the stock price went up to around $84, $85? It was around 142. That's $10 billion less. If they're not fiddling with the stock price, and when I say fiddle, I don't mean that they're manipulating it.
We would never suggest such a thing. Never.
No, of course not.
Gamesmanship, folks. Gamesmanship. You heard us say it.
When market capitalization was 142 billion, they'd be around 5.5% of the entire company, which is still a massive amount of the Walt Disney Company, but it is not as massive as 6%, which it is at the $142 billion valuation. You get what I'm saying here?
Yes.
So
I'm
the
right
higher
with
the stock
you.
price, the greater the market capitalization, and then the lower of a hit, the 8.61
And if you need to
billion.
buy something and you need your stock to be higher to buy something, if you declare you're going to buy that something for an amount that you probably aren't going to buy the something for, then your stock goes up and it makes it easier to buy the something for the amount that you're really going to pay. Fair?
Yes.
There's the other side of this too, Jonas, of course, and that is that doing this, priming this pump of, less than factual information also takes them into this earnings call with a higher level stock value, which then means that if the earnings report goes poorly and it drops 5% or whatever, then it's not as bad as it could have been. And if it goes up 5%, well, that's better all around too. So they probably like the fact that their stock is higher going into the earnings report. I can't imagine otherwise.
No, of course. They always want that higher. That's why they announced their new CFO, even though he's not going to start for another month. They're announcing that before the earnings call. They're announcing the ESPN situation, and they're trading out of their name with this other company here to do gamesmanship.
And Jonas, speaking of fishy things, you're going to be covering some fishy stuff regarding that CFO's contract. Now, we're not here to allege anything wrong at all. In fact, I don't think there is. But there's some interesting stuff in the contract that you uncovered, and then we had some writing about that on That Park Place.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that video very much. When can we expect it?
Oh, I think that we can expect that just as soon as the Warner Brothers earnings call ends, as soon as the live stream ends tomorrow. I do believe that people will be directed from the Warner Brothers earnings call to that video if everything goes according to plan. And we do like it when things go according to plan.
We also like telling the truth very much. We're not perfect at it. We try very hard. And getting on point with the facts is difficult. But I think and I hope that we're earning that reputation, folks. We're not here to destroy Disney or hope for its failure or anything like that. We're just reporting on the news accurately. And it so happens, Jonas, neither you nor I nor That Park Place are beholden to any sort of corporate narrative mandated from on high. We just report what journalism used to do once upon a time, the facts as best as we know them. And we'll continue to do that, folks. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. And when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms, hit the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on all of this zaniness. Maybe that's what we should start calling this. Not manipulative, not duplicitous. It's zaniness. Let us know your thoughts down below. We covet your comments. We care about what you think. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Listen up, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to fills and those with an agenda to destroy your brain cells for far too long. It's time to change your way of doing things.
Hold up.
TPP is the place to be. Covering the news so honestly. It's a team that's cool and tried and true. Ahead of the culture curve, they're trying to keep you. Jonas and Pro, they run the show, and they dragged in the bearded culture casino. You got Valiant and Lord and Fourth of Light. Wonderful people, yeah, they're alright. They got weird bringing in people like Floral, but made no mistake with Lorena Creole. Amelia and John, stuttering guitarist. Martin and Tawny and someone called CMS. Fat Steven makes a bunch of all the graphics. Did I mention a partnership with Bending in the comics? That Sky is a guy and Doc Matt does the web stuff. There's probably some people I missed. I hope they're not telling you the news that should be fun. With accurate info that's not been spun. You can figure it out as you will see. The TPP is the place to be.